Good afternoon. I'm going to spend a few minutes with you this afternoon to talk about some topics regarding Esol and talk about some of the processes and procedures that we need to make sure we're following in our schools to make sure that we are meeting the requirements of the law. If you will notice, I have a little note at the bottom that says any changes that I make to this PowerPoint and upload will be in red. I will be attending the DOE State Collections Conference August the 22nd through 24th, and if any of this information changes, I'll send you out an email and let you know to go and look at the updates that are in the PowerPoint. Just a few reminders for you as we get started on the school year. Itinerant coding should not be used. We don't have this option for our Esol program in Hall County, and when I've seen it used in the past, I think it's been mistakenly used. So I worked with Patty and Patricia this year, and they have taken away this option, so hopefully we won't see this coding used anymore as it's not an option. Just to reiterate that it's very important to collect and enter the date of entry into the U.S. This is required information that helps us to determine whether or not a student is identified as immigrant. If students are duly identified as SPED and Esol, students must receive both services. The only exception to this is if a student has 4 SPED segments, then this child probably will not have an Esol segment. And this is something that we really tried to drive home the last couple of years. Enter the screening score in the appropriate location. You'll see that on the tabs. There's one that says grades 1 through 12, and it's going to say WIDA screener, and then the one for kindergarten will have a KWATS tab. The identified date that you use is the date that you tested the student. Students are going to show as EL1, EL2, EL3, and EL4 before they show as ELF, which is the former. Finally, a new change this year that we've put in place because of given confusion last year is that you are not going to have the capability to enter overrides. Estella Martin in my office will take care of this, so you will need to get in touch with her. I can't stress enough the importance of this registration form and the process for entering it when you scan it and upload it into Infinite Campus. On the home language survey, there are 3 important questions that are related to the Esol program, and these help us to identify the student as whether or not students that we need to screen for possible Esol services. And if we have students on there whose parents enter anything other than English, then it is of utmost importance that you get in touch with your Esol lead teacher or your Esol administrator. I saw a good bit of this last year. We had students who either they entered English, but we served them Spanish for Esol services, and we're going to get in some serious trouble with the Office of Civil Rights if we continue to do that. So please make sure that you pay careful attention to the way the parents respond to those 3 questions so that you'll know the next steps that you need to take. As you know, we have students who are transient and they go from one Hall County school to another Hall County school, and when they're doing that, they fill out a new registration form. And on those registration forms, they may answer those 3 questions differently. Okay? And we've got to make sure that when this happens and we're trying to determine Esol screening or testing for services, that we always run down that original registration form with those original answers to the home language survey questions. That's why it's so important for you to scan and upload this form so that if they transfer to another Hall County school, they can go straight to that form and see how they answered that. By law, we can only screen students for Esol services once, and so the responses to these questions determines that. If a student has already been screened according to the parent responses, then we can't do it again. This is our second full year of transitioning to a completely online records maintenance system. With that said, you're not going to find many hard copy documents related to Esol. We've pretty much put everything that's related to Esol within Infinite Campus. And there's a tab in there with all the documents. You're going to see a couple of things in the hard copy file, and that may be parent waiver letters or test scores. That's pretty much all you're going to see. If a student withdraws from the school system, please get with your Esol admin or your Esol lead to have them print out all of the forms that are located in this area. This is a reminder of the number of segments that students can earn based on their grade level. K3, they can receive a maximum of 1 segment. Grades 4-8, they can receive a maximum of 2 segments. And grades 9 through 12, a maximum of 5 segments. These are the approved delivery models in Hall County, and I'm not going to read those definitions to you, but you can read those. The one important thing I want to note is for high school. For the Newcomer Academy, in order for us to be consistent across the system, we are going to use the Cluster Center code for the students who attend that program. These are the codes that you will use. We do not have a resource center, so I put a mark through that so you'll know that's not an option. And then this is a little flow chart that shows how students are coded, whether they're Esol Y or Esol N. Okay? If you'll take a look at that, Esol yes, and yes, they have services, means that the Esol student has been identified, and yes, they are receiving services, and they're receiving one of those models listed below for their service models. On the other side, if you have ELY, but Esol N, it means that these are the students who have those 4 segments of SPED. Once again, here's another graphic to help serve as a reminder for you whenever you're coding those students. I marked out the Esol itinerant because that's not a model that we use here in Hall County. Another option that we saw that was selected last year that really shouldn't have been selected were 3, 4, and 5. I worked once again with Patty and with Patricia to take out these options so that we don't accidentally select them, because these are not ways that we serve students in Hall County. So to make it easier, there are only going to be 2 reasons why students might have an ELY but Esol N, and that's if their parents refuse services or if they're receiving those services through their SPED classes. Once again, I put another little chart in here for you to refer to whenever you're working on your scheduling and your coding. And if in doubt, please call Estella or I, or shoot us an email. We're probably easier to catch by that, and we'll help you. And if you need me to come out to your school and work with you, I'll be more than glad to do that.